Hi guys, Sohial here from Pillars of Mastery Consulting, and I want to discuss something really important, and that is the evolution of a client or evolution of a customer. First of all, we need to understand that it takes a certain amount of time for most clients, or at least most ideal clients, to end up doing a transaction with you. That is to either purchase your services or invest in your products and services and so on. So unfortunately, one of the biggest issues in business is that most businesses don't know how to nurture, nourish, and educate clients on a long-term basis. So although most people complain about the fact that they're having an issue with client acquisition, that is to, get new clients, but most people don't actually understand that the most expensive part of your business is actually losing something that you can actually hold on to. So we all know that it's really expensive to get a new client than it is to nurture or reactivate an existing client. But the importance of actually educating, nurturing, and holding a client is really, really important. And I wanted to discuss some percentages with you that is often spoken about by many thought leaders about prospecting for an ideal client, and the evolution, as in the time frame or the percentage between different clients that come in at different times. So in any given market, it is said that around 1 to 3% of your potential customers are ready to transact with you now. So that means if you're in a room full of 100 people and you do your offer to them, normally up to 3% of people are willing to purchase. So that's pretty good. That's great. People are ready to give you cash basically. And in any given market, around 30% of people generally think that your product is in their way, which means they don't actually like you, they don't actually like your business, they don't actually like your products, they actually think you're in their way, they actually think you're spamming them. So let's look at this. So out of 100% or 100 people, let's just say 3 of them, they're going to buy from you at any given moment. As soon as you basically offer them something great, they're going to generally buy. 30% actually think that you're wasting their time. So that means we might as well get rid of the 30%. We might as well get rid of the 3% because they're really going to buy from you regardless. They think your product's great. They think that your product solves all their problems, and they're willing to give you cash for it. They're willing to do a transaction with you. So if you take away the 3% and you take away the 30% that are going to reject you regardless, that leaves you to a market of potentially 67% of possible clients or possible customers. Now, the 67% also have a particular segment of percentage allocation in terms of what they are, as in who they are, where they are, and what they need from you. So the remaining 67%, out of them, 7% are generally said to be very actively interested in buying your products and services. They just need a small push. They just need to maybe, ask a few more questions. They just possibly need you to refine a couple more things for them. Maybe show them some instructions on how to potentially use your product and service. So they're very, very close. They're very, very hot leads, and they're very inclined to actually transact with you. They just need a little bit more time. So that leaves another 30% and another 30%. So one of the 30% is people who are somewhat interested, but they just need some education. And the other 30% remaining are people who don't actually think they're interested, who also need long-term education. So one of the key concepts in business today is education, and education is currency today, especially in the online world, where people don't actually or don't know how to really measure the tangibility of the value that you provide. So I can go on your website right now, and if you have an online business where you sell products and services, and I can actually see the price, and under the price you can tell me a little bit about your products and services, some key points, for example. It'll give me some idea to measure the value of what you're charging me. But I can't really have a very tangible feeling of the value because I can only determine that based on me feeling it or experiencing it. Or for example, if it's an apparel, I need to try it on to see if it fits good, if the fabric's good, and so on. So every time you don't show enough value which is in this case at the moment education, long-term education, ongoing education, you have no option but your potential customers to actually rely on buying from you based on price. And when they rely on buying something for you based on price, generally you're gonna go into a price war, which means that the customer will always want the cheapest price. And that's not really the kind of war that we want to get into, because that war always leads to failure. So you just need to find a way to measure by delivering value to your potential clients in answering their most pressing questions, the things that you know about your products and services that is frequently asked, the thing that you know will drive a lot of value. So you got to be willing to ongoing nurture, nourish, and educate your clients in order for them to evolve as a potential suspect to a customer, to a long-term client. Now, there is a difference between a customer and a client. Now, you might have heard this. One basically is that the customer is generally a one-time transaction, and a client is generally a long-term committed individual. Well, it's interesting actually, the word client actually comes from cliner, which actually means to lean or to bend, as in to lean on you or to bend on you, which means they need to lean on you as support. So that's why a client needs long-term support. And the best way for an online business, or if you have a brick and mortar store, for example, in my business as a health practitioner, I need to constantly educate my clients about the kind of work that I do. That could be the current research on, health challenges that they're experiencing. That could be, videos like this or other videos on emotional empowerment and things of this nature. So the more you educate your clients, the more you can build equity. So the more equanimity you have within, the more equity you'll build in your clients, and the more they're willing to possibly do a transaction with you, to become a committed client with you. So remember, the 3% are ready to buy. The 30% will always find an objection into your offering and servicing. And so the 67% that's remaining, they just need some time. And so you take them through educated material until they are ready to do a transaction with you. I'll do another video on prospecting because it's a huge deal, and most businesses unfortunately rely too much on trying to find new clients, which it actually costs more, on average 9 times more than they are to reactivate existing clients, which is actually a lot less. And you should actually look at reactivating the people that once invested in you, because they've already shown you that they're somewhat interested in your products and services. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.